Welcome to the Me Podcast with your host, Daniel Bryant. In today's episode, we have a special Athlete and Me episode for this series. Our special guest is Ahmad Abdullah. Ahmad is the Director of Basketball Operations at North Carolina A&T State University with the men's basketball team. So without further ado, let's add him to the call. What's up, Ahmad? How are you doing, and how's life going?
What's up, Daniel? Everything's going good. We're healthy out here, grinding, working hard every day. It's a pleasure for you to have me on the podcast, man. Great thing that you're doing. Just thankful to be on.
I appreciate it. I had to get you on the call, especially me going to A&T, so it was a must that I had that got you on, especially for this series, Be Athlete and Me.
Yes, sir.
So let's go ahead and dive into some of these questions that I have. So my first question is kind of explain your background of, athletics and then how you fell in love with the game of basketball.
Yeah, I would say it started around age 2 or 3. Falling in love with basketball. My dad played for a year or 2 at NC State. So just being in the house, wanting to do everything with the orange basketball, whether it's shooting on the mini goal or tossing it back and forth or going outside, rolling it down the hill, going to pick it back up, dribbling, kicking it, whatever. Everything needed to involve the orange basketball. So around 2 to 3 years old is probably when I fell in love with the game, and it just ballooned from there.
That's wonderful. That kind of, makes me think about my love for football and how I fell in love with it, is being around it so much, playing with all my toy footballs and everything like that. So I like that. That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and move on to this next question. Something big that every, high school student, any athlete has to go through at some point in time, and that's recruitment. So kind of give us a little gist about your recruitment from high school to college and how A&T was your right choice for you.
Yeah, ironically, recruitment wasn't a big thing for me throughout my playing years. Like I said, I played, from 3 all the way on up to now. AAU days, people show interest, but, really didn't pull the trigger on offering scholarships, things of that sort. I went to Knightdale High School, and I played AAU for Garner Road basketball here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So recruitment, it was hit or miss, so to say, for me. I felt like, I was kind of in the shadows. And then upon graduating Knightdale High School, I didn't really have some of the opportunities that I would have wished I had. So I did a prep school year with Body of Christ here in Raleigh, North Carolina as well. Recruitment, kind of picked up a little bit there. Had like an offer to go to Campbell. I really wasn't feeling it, honestly. And so just sat down with my parents, applied to a plethora of colleges, ECU. I remember ECU and North Carolina A&T being down to my 2 finalists, so to say. And honestly, ironically, I really didn't have a preference. I'm a fairly easygoing guy, so I really didn't have a preference. I just happened to choose North Carolina A&T. I didn't go there on any scholarship or any money, paying out of pocket, but FAFSA, that type of thing. So recruitment, wasn't big for me. But luckily, I just, chose the right university, and I was gifted the opportunity to join the team there.
That's amazing, and those are wise words for anybody coming up who might not have those offers just yet and might have to take that extra year at a prep school like you had to, doing everything that you can to, make your dreams come true. You're a true testament to that, and I think that's very powerful for high school students now who are looking to play at the next level, doing all you can to be able to make that dream be fulfilled.
Indeed.
So let me move on to this next question. It's actually a good transition to go in depth. Now, I know you played at the college level, but guys, I'm talking to a pro too. So I want you to give us a little, info about how it was to go overseas and play at even the highest level.
I got you. So yeah, kind of the same thing, kind of the same journey, the same, tribulations. Playing at North Carolina A&T, it took a while for me to get my opportunity, to get my shot. My last 2 years, I kind of was the guy for the team. I was a starting point guard. Upon, finishing there, didn't have numbers that were off the chart or, didn't have people knocking down the door to offer me contract opportunities, things of that sort. So once again, it was in my hands. I continued to work. I continued to grind. Found opportunities for camps to gain more exposure, get more eyes on my talent so people could see what I can do. I ended up going to a camp in Las Vegas, actually. Had a pretty good showing. Got in contact with the agent there. He wanted to help me. And so he helped me get my first contract in Saudi Arabia. That was like 1 year out of college. It was an amazing deal, amazing opportunity. I was there for 7 months. The transition is absolutely out of this world to, fresh college graduate to living overseas, language barrier, things of that sort. So it was how can I really, sum it up? It was really a shock, but in the end, you can only be grateful and just capitalize on the opportunity. So the transition was amazing. Like I said, the main thing for me would probably be the language barrier, especially being in Saudi Arabia. Also, I had some Muslim background. I have a Muslim name. My dad's side of the family is Muslim. So going over there, being able to play basketball and indulge in their culture at the same time, that probably changed my life for the better, honestly.
That's amazing. Like you picked up things that you could take for your life, and you were able to, more than just basketball, right?
Right.
Immersing yourself in that culture, being able to, learn different things, be around different people, different, concepts and things like that. That's wonderful. You really maximize that opportunity.
Yes, indeed.
So we talked about, your overseas, you going to A&T. So now I want to get to where you are at now, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're the director of basketball operations, men's basketball team at North Carolina A&T. So kind of explain your role in that position and kind of why you decided to get into that.
Yeah, so we're just kind of backtrack and piggyback off the last question. Played in Saudi Arabia, played in China, played in Mexico. That span was maybe like a year and a half. I returned to the States. I got a corporate job. I was a technical recruiter for a company called Tech Systems here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I, when I got that job, I gave myself, kind of a time limit. I said, I want to do this. I'm going to do this mandatory for a year. See if it's something I like. See if it's something, I want to continue to do, stay in the corporate America world, be an entrepreneur. It's a lot of options out here for you to try to make a living. So I did that for a year. And, just really wasn't enjoying myself, really wasn't enjoying going to work every day. But ironically, Jay Joyner, he was the head associate while I was a player. And then he became the interim head coach the last 10 games of my senior year. He reached out to me and my dad, honestly, and they had a role open, the director of basketball operations role. And, it was just literally a blessing falling right out of the sky, offered me an opportunity. He liked my character. He was literally my position coach for all 4 years I was at North Carolina A&T as a student athlete. So he knew a lot about me. He knew, my characteristics. He knew, not to toot my own, I'm a good person, good beliefs, good values. So he offered me an opportunity. I was able to join the staff. And then he actually moved on from being the head coach at North Carolina A&T, moved on for another opportunity. And now Will Jones is the head coach at North Carolina A&T. He kept me on staff. I think he believes in me. I'm grateful for him as well. But being a director of basketball operations at A&T now is amazing. Like I said, I really didn't plan on going into coaching. It literally just fell out of the sky. People always used to say that I would probably be a good coach one day just because of the way I play and, my IQ for the basketball, for the game. So kind of transitioned into that. My role, essentially, I'm just in charge of the day-to-day operations for the men's basketball team, whether it be travel, where we eat, where we stay, scheduling practice times. I'm the liaison for our team and other universities. So if somebody wants to, schedule a game or want to find out about certain players, things of that sort, they're going to reach out to me. And it was, it was a big adjustment. I actually started 2 days before the first game of the season. I literally got on board 2 days before the first game of the season. So it was wild. Really just got through in the fire and, just been learning as I go. It's been a great opportunity, soaking up, a lot of knowledge from the older coaches. Coach Jones has been in the game for 19 plus years. We have Coach Martin on our staff, been in the game for 20 plus years. We have a lot of knowledge on our staff. So being around those guys, being able to soak that up, take what I want from it, implement what I want from it immediately, hold some of that information and knowledge, maybe I use it down the line. It's been a great experience thus far.
I think that's also great, especially, you talked about how you were learning from, the older coaches. Like, I feel like reflection is the best teacher, and being able to kind of be under them and, just soak up all the knowledge that you can while they're there. I think that's really great, and is a way to strengthen yourself and strengthen your coaching ability and in all the roles that you hold on that team.
For sure.
So yeah, I think that's very important, and I think like you said, basketball operations, where you named all the different tasks that you handle and everything that you touch. I think that's really, really great, and it speaks to your character and kind of your ability to be able to control everything that's going on at once. I'm sure I'm not a point guard, but I'm sure that's what you got to do. So
yeah, it's kind of very relatable.
Yeah. So I feel like that was a smooth transition for you, as a point guard. So yeah,
it was.
I ain't gonna go too much in my plan because I ain't the best. But I can hit a three though. I got a shot. Let me move on to my next question. And that's being, now that you're at this coaching level, but the shoes of how it is to be able to be a player at one point in time, high school, college, and even at a pro level. Now I want you to kind of give us, what does it mean to be a coach? Like, what advice would you give to players, to high school students that want to play at the next level? What advice could you give as a coach to them that's looking to make that next step?
For sure, man. It's tremendous. Also in my role, I'm very relatable to the guys. I'm only 27 years old. I'm still in the same age bracket as these guys. And I also walk the halls, walk the roads, the dorms, everything that they're going to experience while they're at North Carolina A&T. I did it. So that's just another branch in my job, like being able to relate to those guys, being able to help some of their tribulations that they're going through, onboarding or, having any type of issues on campus. I kind of have the upper leg on it because I did it. I've been there. So that's just another branch I wanted to speak on, and it kind of piggybacks just, helping the younger generation. That's the main thing for me. So just uplifting, leaving the door open, leaving the door open for the next person. Ironically, we have a few walk-ons on our team, and I'm so hard on those guys because I did it. You know what I mean? Like I don't cut them any slack because I did it. I know what it takes for them to possibly earn a scholarship, to get the minutes that they on the court. So that's just another thing. Like, I'm just so hard on the walk-ons because I actually was in their shoes before. But just speaking to the next generation, man, like I said, a lot of things you just got to control what you can control. I couldn't control that people weren't knocking down my door offering scholarship opportunities, things of that. So I couldn't control that people weren't, offering me contracts post-graduation to continue my basketball career. So what you can do is just control what you control, work hard, always have a positive mindset, put the man upstairs first. Just continue to believe in yourself. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something, that you're not good enough, that you won't ever be able to do this. How many times I heard that in my life, and I've, just shattered a lot of those statements that came my way. But so my statement to, the next generation, literally just, believe in yourself, continue to grind. Don't never stop going after what you want. Don't ever get complacent. You know what I mean? It's always new levels to eclipse.
Yeah, that's great advice. Like I said, that's, that covers it all right there. Any recruits that's watching, that's listening, or who wants to say, I want to play at that next level, I hope you're watching and you're taking notes, because he listed it all of everything that you should do, believing in yourself, working hard, not being complacent, always looking to be able to level up, things like that. That will be able to, those are intangibles that coach can't, really coach you, being able to believe in yourself, coach can't coach you that. Being able to not be complacent, always looking to be better, coach can't. As many drills as they run, that's something that got to be in your heart. The one thing that my football coach would say is, does your heart pump Kool-Aid or does it really pump blood? And that's kind of, it really targets it targets us all the players, because it makes us look at ourselves like, are we really built for this? Are we really, do we really want to do this? Or are we just, just wearing the jersey for fun, or just wearing it for, all the crowd noise and things like that, but are we really ready to grind? And
For sure.
So I really appreciate you, listening out, not only your personal story of how you were able to grind, from not having any offers, but to have an offer and then be able to play at the next level and at the highest level. And then now you're being able to transfer that to the younger generation, to the players that are there now at A&T, and then to future players to come.
For sure.
I do have one more question for you, and that's, I know a lot of players who don't understand, what do I do to get a coach's attention, right? Or how do I get on the radar for college recruiting, right? So I kind of want you just to go quickly just about, what do you look at in a player when y'all are evaluating? Do you look at team need or whatever like that? Or what do they need to do to be able to, get on your radar?
Right. For myself personally, when I was a player, as a coach, it's more so the know-how. So like I said, I feel like I was in the shadows and I was kind of overlooked because I wasn't the most athletic. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the strongest. I wasn't the biggest. But I had a really strong basketball IQ. So I know how. I'm an extension of the coach on the court when I was a player, and I took pride in that. Knowing, being a few steps ahead of the coach, like knowing what he's going to want to run, knowing what defense he's going to want to get in, calling the play before he even gets to call it. You guys are on the same page, same accord. So that's what I would say. Don't get caught up in having the best highlight or being able to jump the highest, being able to run the fastest, having the fastest 40 time, being able to hit multiple home runs, things of that sort. Don't get caught up in it. Really just, be in love with the game, and that will translate, to your performance. If you're knowledgeable of the game, you're putting in extra work, you're putting in the extra reps, it's going to show. But for me, like I said, it's the know-how, it's the knowledge of the game. So whether it's lacrosse, whether it's soccer, whether it's baseball, the knowledge of the game and your IQ of the sport that you're playing is big for me, and that's what I like to look at.
There you go. All the recruits that's watching, if you want to know, what is something that, I can control and something that I can do to strengthen my my chances to be able to get on the radar to that next level, college, wherever that may be. Something, you might not be the biggest, you might not be the strongest, you might not be the fastest, but you can control how much you study in the game, how much you immerse yourself in, being knowledgeable about every single facet of the game. That's one thing that I pride myself in. As a defensive lineman for football, I wasn't the tallest or the prototypical size for a defensive lineman. So I made it sure it was it's a standard for me to say, okay, I'm gonna make sure that I know all the defensive plays. I'm gonna know all of the offensive plays. I'm gonna know where everybody's supposed to be in position on the field. I'm gonna make sure I know that. And I think that's how I got my step ahead of players I was playing against and players I was competing against on my own team. So I feel like that's the biggest thing, being knowledgeable about the game. No one can take that away from you. Injury can't take that away from you from being knowledgeable about the game. So guys, strengthen your knowledge on whatever sport you're playing.
Indeed. Agreed.
So I want to thank you for coming on the podcast. Like I said, I know you're a very busy man. You got your hands filled. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on. And
for sure, I appreciate you for having me, Daniel. Like I said, this is a great podcast you got going. Do everything to help you promote it, help you, balloon it to your dreams that you have for this. Honestly, I love it, and I'm thankful for you, giving me this opportunity.
All right, appreciate it.
No doubt.
All right, guys, that will be all for that episode. That was an amazing episode. He listed everything from his personal grind to make it to where he wanted to be, and also how he was a coach and how he was able to transfer that back to players he's coaching now and future players that he will be recruiting. So, guys, if you need to know anything about what it feels like to have that grind, I urge you to take notes on this episode because he listed it all out. But like always, have a me day, stay motivated, and stay empowered.